Welcome to this episode. I'm Antoinette and this is She and Success, the show where we explore success from the inside out. And in today's conversation, I am joined by Linda Schneider, curandera and medicine woman. And Linda helps people to reconnect with their own sovereignty and to find their way back to themselves. We talk about why so many of us spend most of our lives running away from the very thing that we need to face if we want to heal, and why true healing actually begins when we finally stop running and hiding from ourselves. Let's get into it. Good afternoon, Linda.
Hi, Antoinette. Happy to be here.
So, thank you so much for joining me here on She and Success. I'm super excited for this conversation because the work you do is so important right now. It's always been important, but I think every day it gets more important. You are a curandera, and I'm excited to talk about that because it's not something that many people would have heard of. And essentially, you guide people back to their own sovereignty. So that's something you're clearly super passionate about.
Yes, you are completely right. Wow. Where do I start? I mean, I've been doing this work full time for over 20 years. And what I'm doing is I'm helping people find their home inside themselves and to live a fulfilled life. Because when I look at the world right now, the majority of people are not happy and free and live in peace. Like they're struggling. People are struggling. So yeah, I'm doing the best I can. Right, right. Curandera in Spanish means like a healer, the one that heals, but we could translate it into medicine woman. What is important to me that I work in the Slavic tradition. We have medicine women too. So it's not a North American indigenous or South American indigenous title. It's a Slavic one. That's always important to say because there's a lot of cultural domination happening. And indigenous people, that many of them are my friends, are not happy about European people like taking their culture and using them for themselves. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, I work in a Slavic way and densified, and in a short way, we are like the bridge between the unseen and the seen world, because we have the capability of decoding more frequencies than like usually people do.
Right.
So we see spirits and just non-manifested energies, and we can talk to souls and different kind of entities and nature spirits and people that passed away. And so we build a bridge. We read patterns in the energetic field when we look at someone or feel someone or hear someone, and we just translate to people and help them find the root, like the real root of the problem, instead of working on symptoms.
I have to ask, how did you find out that you were able to do this? Because I imagine that was quite a journey in itself.
Oh, yes, it was. Hey, I don't even remember it to start, that it has started someday, because when I was a little child, I already had that. So I grew up in a kind of like normal family. It was an amazing family, but they don't see the world in the same way I do. So I like kind of walked around the corner in our house, and there was this spirit just standing in the doorway, which I didn't know what it was back then, right? I wasn't looking at it saying, "Oh, look, a spirit." I'm like, "What's this?" And I was terrified because I really didn't know, and nobody in my family could explain to me what I was experiencing. So yeah, that wasn't easy. I grew up that way, having all kinds of special dreams and like visitors from the star beings at night. And oh my gosh, I don't, it would be an endless list. It was like a constant state of being. I also I was reading people since I was a child. Like I saw and felt things that I didn't have words for. And I couldn't talk about it in my family because, for example, my mother would get worried, right? She was thinking, "Oh my, what's wrong with her?" Or she was worried about me. So I stopped talking about it, and I just had no idea until I got to the Indian reservation when I was 19. And then I kind of like found words for it, and they guided me and explained to me that I'm not crazy, that I have a gift. Yeah, that was a very freeing experience.
Gosh, I can imagine. So there's nobody else in your family that had these abilities or that was open or anything like that? It was just you.
I mean, when I was really little, we came to Switzerland when I was about 4 years old.
Mm.
And the first years of my life, my grandmother, my Czech grandmother, she was a medicine woman.
Right.
But I only spent the first 4 years with her, right? But I remember, I have childhood memories from maybe 9, 10, 11 months on. So I remember a lot. And I vividly remember her teaching me about herbs and a lot of medicine, and just like explaining to me how the nature spirits work and how I can talk to them. So that was part of my life, of my like first 4 years.
Mm.
But then we had to escape the country because of, just a lot of difficult things back then, right?
Yeah,
With
of
the
course.
Russians invading Czech Republic and everything. So we lost contact for like 12 years. We weren't allowed to get in contact with our relatives in Czech Republic. So then after those 4 years, it was kind of just like me and myself and just getting through it.
Wow. It sounds very lonely, particularly when you're so young as well, because at that time of our lives, people, you want to feel connected, don't you? You want to feel like you've got your people.
Yeah. Hey, you're so right. Like that's not only been a teenager loneliness. That was long, long time, like a big part of my life. I was like, what am I doing here? Like I couldn't connect to normal conversations really. I didn't get the meaning of it. Like I didn't understand why people are living the way they're living. I just really felt like I don't belong here. And it took me a while until I found my people. And now I'm not lonely at all anymore. But it was quite a journey. Yes, a lot of loneliness.
When people are coming to you, because as we said, so many people kind of are lost, they're disconnected, and all of these things. At what point do people come to you? Because I imagine it's extreme, because so many people are living like this that there has to be something that happens to cause people to think, actually, I need to do something. So, what kind of state are people typically in by the time that they're in contact with you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I've been doing this for such a long time. And I had everything from little kids struggling with adapting to the school system to like really old people that are getting ready to pass away, to cross over the Rainbow Bridge or the Milky Way, how we call it, to cancer patients, psychological problems, illnesses of all kind, or just like life crisis. Most people they try to live the way they lived for a very long time, and then they get to a certain age and they just realize, I'm not happy at all. Like this can't be it. Like I only live for chasing something, or like, out of lack somehow, trying to fill my internal lack with whatever, success, money, appreciation, acknowledgement, the house you built, just whatever. And they find out after a time it doesn't work. It's not working. I'm not fulfilled. So then they come to me, and the way I work with people, I work in a very raw, direct, precise way. Like I don't waste time because I don't want to waste my lifetime. I don't want to waste theirs. And like I see it as my responsibility to see the like to see the shortest way to effectively work through the old patterns so they can have a fulfilled life. I'm saying that because that also means that it's quite intense. Like I'm not sugarcoating or compensating or doing anything for them that they can do themselves. Like the last thing I want is them to become dependent on me or someone else. Like they have to take responsibility for their life, for their patterns. But I support them intensely and I show them the way. But yes, it creates a lot of fear in them because they have to let go of the illusion they have built before. And that takes a lot of courage.
Gosh. Can you talk to us about when people have come to you that are suffering from a mental health challenge, perhaps something that might be surprising for people to hear in terms of what you've been able to ascertain or what you've been able to uncover for them?
Yeah. You have really good questions. I love that. Okay, I work with something that is called the medicine wheel.
Right.
And there's different medicine wheels. Every culture or tribe has its own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about one specific that I work with. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole; it would take up too much time. But anyways, there's four main direction, which is the mind, the spirit, the heart, and the substance. Substance meaning body.
Right.
So when you have those four main directions, when only one of them is missing or is not active or healed or in harmony with the others, you are not healthy, and you're not happy, and you're not balanced, and you can't come into your core and work from your center. It's impossible because the wheel is imbalanced, right?
Mm.
So what I look at is through looking at them, their energetic field, and listening to them, and just like when all the informations come together also from their soul and such, it becomes obvious, like when did they I have to find something that works for everyone somehow, because it's quite difficult because everybody's different. But in the end, maybe when did they betray their own dreams or visions they had in life?
Mm.
When did they stop believing that they are perfect the way they are, and that they don't have to change or adapt in order to become successful or happy or healthy? But they like kind of forgot who they really were. And then I have to find the core. Like, when did that start? Because we're not born that way.
Mm.
We are born as children that still see the magic. And in the first years, we see also the other side. Like, we're so connected to spirits and magic, and just like there's no limits until we're taught by our parents and society and school and the media and so on, that all of this is just, a really beautiful imagination, but it's not real. And we're going to teach you what is real and what is possible. And we all kind of like fall into that trap, and we believe them because that's the way we grew up. And that's what makes people sick in the end,
Mm.
because they let go of their dreams because they think it's not going to happen anyway. And then they get sick because they're not following their soul path anymore, the path they chose before they even came here. It's a really multi-layered, complex work. Like, every session is completely different from the next one.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And that piece around that center, because something you talk about a lot is returning to the center. In what ways do you think people disconnect from the center? You've said one, which is obviously we're so outwardly conditioned, aren't we, by people telling us this, that, and the other, or that's not true, or whatever it might be. I guess what are some of the other signs that people might be disconnected from their centers? And the real question everyone's wanting to know is, how do we start to find our way back there? Because that's actually the biggest challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy, but most people are so afraid of it that they
Mm.
just don't do it. When we experience trauma or just painful things in our childhood, and almost everybody has experiences like that. Doesn't have to be severe abuse or so. It can be one sentence that you heard from your mother that just sticks with you, and just kind of like influences everything you do and everything you believe. Like, it doesn't have to look like severe trauma from the outside, but it had a huge impact on this one person. So what people usually do, and this is by design from outside, is that they kind of overload with entertainment and information and just distraction, so they don't have to face the wounds they carry inside. Now, the problem is, if you don't face your wounds at some point, and you don't dare to go there and really feel the pain and not suppress it anymore, you will never become whole, because the parts you're suppressing take up a whole part of your energetic field, which is like unused, being afraid of the darkness. So this creates like a constant addiction to distraction. And people are not even aware of it because it's normal, because like everybody does that, right? You work Monday to Friday, then you go party on the weekend. In the evenings, you watch Netflix or whatever. Then you listen to music all the time and you socialize or you read a book or whatever. Even when it's spiritual, like you do your breath work and you sing mantras. I'm not saying anything against that. That's beautiful. But there's always something. And the ultimate healing thing, or like the beginning of the healing path, is just to dare to sit in a room, stare at a wall without your phone, no music, no breath work, no mantra singing, no any other kind of exercise, just nothing. Like facing the nothingness is the beginning of every like true healing journey. But you wouldn't believe it's so simple, but most people will never do it because it's terrifying. The moments you sit there and you just look at a wall, that's why I'm not telling them to look at a tree, because a tree is beautiful and it helps you to distract yourself again from the emptiness. But when you look at the wall, there's just nothing really beautiful. It's just like blank. It's like a blank screen. So you're confronted with this very uncomfortable feeling inside of like, oh, I feel terribly lonely. And there's this emptiness and pain and oh my God, and I don't want to feel it. And yeah, there's no way around that.
Well, I don't think that that's what anybody wanted to hear, is it? Yeah.
Yep.
And even in
Right.
meditation,
It's like a constant fight or flight mode your entire life. You know, people are always afraid of something. It's crazy. There's always something to be afraid of. Like sometimes they don't have enough money, but then they do. So they're not afraid of that anymore. But then there's something else and something else. Like we're being fed so much fear. And fear is the strongest controlling emotion. So it's also how to guide them out of this reaction, like out of fear into being centered and confident and take up your space and hold your ground. And just also how you can master your thoughts, because the thoughts come first and then the emotion follows, right? Depending on what you think, that's how you feel. So I'm teaching them how to master their thoughts too. But like I said, you have to work on all layers simultaneously. So you work on the emotional level, the mental level, the physical level. Also, nutrition is a huge topic that people usually underestimate. Like nutrition is huge. And then also the spiritual level. So you work on all of those levels simultaneously.
Wow. And it's surprising to hear because, you know, when I saw your title, firstly, I thought this is so good. You know, you're guiding people through conscious human development. But actually, you mentioned that nutrition is a part of that, which is, I think it's going to be surprising for people because we kind of we separate everything, don't we? We think, okay, my fitness and what I'm eating. Then there's the kind of spiritual practice, if that's something that you're doing. Then there's kind of mindset stuff, and it's all in little buckets. But you're saying actually we have to bring everything back together, which is completely true.
Exactly. I mean, you just mentioned like the main problem in humanity today in every way, like separation, right? Like separating the light from the darkness and thinking only light is good, darkness is bad. It's not. You have to integrate both. It has to be both because then it's whole, right? I could go down that road forever, but separating, like you said, the body from the spirit, from the heart, from the mind, it's a huge problem. What I'm doing, like decoding those energetic fields, has been completely normal a couple of hundreds and thousands of years ago. There was no word for spirituality. It didn't exist because it was just a normal way of being. So we create those names, and then we have all those separations, all of those buckets. It's like, oh, today I'm going to meditate for an hour because this is like my spiritual time. And then I'm going to go to the fitness. It's going to be like my physical time. And then I'm going to read a book, and that's going to be my mental time. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But separation in every way is a problem in the end. Like, because spirituality should be one with our daily life, not like a hobby or something you do when you have the time. Like it should be, all of this should be one, because again, when you look at the medicine wheel, they're all there always, and when they're all activated and in balance all the time, then it's possible to go to the center. And peace and wisdom and freedom and love and like everything on the other side of fear is only possible when you're centered. And that I'm not talking about the heart chakra, I'm talking about the center, which is where a little bit underneath the navel. That's the most important point.
How do we connect to that or feel that? Because when you said it's not the heart chakra, I was immediately like, oh, okay, so it's something completely different to what many people might be thinking. If we've been so disconnected from it, how do we even know that we're operating with or communicating with that part of us?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of difficult to answer. I think it's very important for people that are listening today, for example, that to keep it very simple. Like people tend to overcomplicate things, especially when it comes to themselves. Like they feel unhappy and they have no idea what to do and they overthink everything and they think and think and think and they don't do anything. Like they don't dare to make the first step. So I don't know. I think I would just answer that with, you don't even have to know.
Mm-hmm.
Just follow your passion or excitement. What would really excite you in your life? What would you really want to do if you would forget about what you believe is possible or isn't? Like, what would be your dream come true? And then most people know, not all of them, but most people know it's like, oh, this would be, wow, that would be the dream, the life of my dreams. But then immediately the head kicks in and said, yeah, it's cool, but it's never going to happen because of this and this and this and this and this and this. And there's like an endless list of reasons why it's not going to happen. So I don't know. I would just suggest to really find someone for the first steps, so someone can guide them out of their own mirror loop, just because it's really difficult sometimes to find the steps yourself at the beginning, because you're turning around yourself and someone has to kind of like pull you out first. So you can look at yourself from a distance, and then start connecting dots and go like, oh, that's what's happening. And yeah, that would be my suggestion, because there's no like button or exercise really that I could give them, like, do this and this, and then you will feel a lot more centered, because it doesn't work that way. It's really a lot of work and it comes from the inside. It's making your patterns conscious.
Right.
And just working through them, bit by bit. That's the only way. Yeah. So exercises help, but only up to a certain point. And a lot of times it's just comforting you within the misery. Sounds horrible, but instead of like really confronting the root issues.
Thank you so much. No, that's I think that's very, very valuable to know, because you're right. Ultimately, if you've been in a situation for however many years, the idea that you'll be able to miraculously just snap out of it is not likely to happen, is it? So you mentioned a wide variety of things that people come to you with in terms of, the situations that they're stuck in. And obviously you mentioned that you're working at all the different layers. What are some of the kind of changes or transformations that you've been able to see in people? Because that must be absolutely fantastic aspect of what you're doing.
Oh, yes, you're so right. That's so rewarding. I can't even. Yeah, there's one story that every time I talk about it wants to make me tear up. Seriously. I've had many, many, many really, really extremely wonderful experiences, but this one was really life-changing for me. And I was thinking, after that happened, I'm going to tell you what it was. But I was thinking, if I would die today, I would die with this feeling of like, yeah, it was worth it, only for this one experience. Like, I had a client, she was highly suicidal, and I worked with her. I had, I think, 2 or 3 sessions with her. One day, the doorbell rings, and I open the door, and she's standing there And I'm like, what are you doing here? Because we didn't have an appointment. And she goes, um, I was standing in this shed and she wanted to hang herself. She had this, I always forget how it's called in English, the rope you put
Yes,
around
the
your
noose.
neck.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you. I always
noose. Yeah.
forget. So she had that ready for months in that shed.
Wow.
So whenever she is like brave enough to do it, she can just go there and do it. So she's standing in front of in my doorway, and she goes, I was standing there like in front of the noose, and then I remembered what you said in the last session, and I stepped off this, like chair, and I came here. And really, every time I talk about it, wants to make me cry, because I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I'm just looking at her, and it was just so unbelievably beautiful that this kept her from taking her life.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest, most wonderful experiences. She's still alive and she's doing great.
I mean, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
that's everything, isn't it? That is everything. Wow. I think it's
Mhm.
important for people to take on board the depth of the work that you're doing. It's not just spiritual, it's everything. It's you as a being. This is the work you're doing. People might not think that it's what they need, or that it's the path that they need to go down, or that it's going to help them to resolve the challenge they're experiencing, because they're very trapped in the physical. How is that going to actually help me to sort out, as you say, whether it's this financial thing or this job thing or this situation with my relationship? How will doing that help this?
Yeah, it's a pity sometimes. I'm thinking, I mean, I have a background in physical therapy, right? And kinesiology, and I come from a school medicine family. So I have a lot of knowledge in that field, but a lot of times I'm thinking it's such a pity I can't work with people that don't consider themselves to be spiritual, because I'm like the least spiritual talk person you can imagine. I see, but I always know how to like reach someone. So can I bring an example from someone who had cancer?
Please
Are you
do.
okay? Someone talked me into have a phone call with someone who was terminally ill with cancer in the hospital. And I'm like, yeah, it was calling me. So we had a phone call. She had chemotherapy for maybe 5 months,
Right.
unbelievably sick, like really a nightmare. Like she was not doing well at all. And it looked really bad. So she's on the phone with me, and I'm like, I know you're not a spiritual person, but honestly, you've been trying everything that exists in your reality for the last 10 years. And I said, and it brought you here, which is not about guilt. It's just like, I'm giving you the opportunity to open up to a kind of work and worldview that you don't know yet. And honestly, if I was in your position, I would go for it, because what do you have to lose? I mean, it can make it worse. And she said, well, no, but those things are not real. And I'm saying, what reality are you talking about? Because there's countless realities, and she was trapped in hers. And she believed that only what she believes in exists, which is really not the case. There's countless realities you can choose from. And she couldn't do it, which is completely okay. That was just her path. But I'm bringing this as an example that it's really a pity that so many people stay away from it. They were like, oh no, that's just, esoteric nonsense. But sorry, I have to add something else. This also has to do with a lot of people that work in this field and really don't know what they're doing. I'm sorry to say that, but there's a lot, it's a huge trend. And there's so many people calling themselves shamans after like a weekend seminar or a 2-week training. That's not how it works. I mean, you can't just decide to be one and then go through a short training and I know, everything is the way it's supposed to be, but it's a problem. And then they make bad experiences, or they see those people and they're like, oh no, that's not what I want to engage with. And I totally get it. Me neither. That's why I work by myself.
Yeah. No, what you're saying is so true. And it does make me frustrated and disappointed too. Ultimately, I think in life, in every avenue, there's always people that are ready to abuse the situation or to scam or to do this or to do that. That's just unfortunately humans, isn't it? There's always somebody that is ready to do those things. And unfortunately, some people see everybody's the same, and they're not at all.
Right. But in the end, also those experiences, they only look, and I think it's very important to go from that, why did that happen to me, to what is it teaching me in with every situation in life. So when someone experiences something bad like that, instead of, oh no, going to the victim mode and saying, why did that happen to me? You can say, what is it trying to teach me? And it's always the same. It's like in those cases to listen to your intuition, right? Because you can feel when you see someone, you can trust that feeling. It's either a yes or it's a no. And when you have this slight no, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't go there. And and then when you run into people like that, it's like something telling you, you haven't been listening to your intuition, have you? But it's a pity to just close the door to all of it because you had this one bad experience, right?
So true. Talking about listening to your inner voice or inner self or that part of you, let's talk about that, because obviously the work that you're doing, you're guiding people to be more connected with themselves, to stop listening to all of this out here and to remember who they are ultimately. But when you have been out there so much and listening to people telling you who you are or what you should be or this, that, and the other, how do we start to kind of trust ourselves? Because, you know, you might have had experiences that cause you to stop trusting yourself or to doubt yourself or to whatever it might be.
There's a lot of possibilities to start that process, but a really good one. Let me pick one from what is going through my mind right now. I would draw like 5 concentric circles. Like we have a center and then 5 circles around it, right? On a piece of paper. And then I would write down the center is your soul. It's like your core, like your most intimate, authentic you. And the next circle is like very close to that. And the next circle is a little bit further away from it. So the further away those circles are from the center, the further away it is from your core. And then I have them write down everything that is part of their lives on those circles without thinking a lot. Just like, oh, my husband is on the second, my father is here, my job is here, this hobby is here, this hobby is here. Oh, I can tell you that's very interesting. If you don't overthink it and just do it spontaneously, and then you look at the circles, it's pretty eye-opening. Because everybody so far was surprised. So why is this on the 5th circle and not close to my core? And then it makes them think. And the goal is to like minimize or transform or get rid of everything that is on the outer circles, because that's just too far away from your core, from who you really are, right? And to see, okay, this is nothing for me anymore. I have to change my job because it's obviously not really, doesn't resonate with me or align with me really. And then work yourself to the core, like only do the things that are close to your core. It takes a little time, but it's very eye-opening. And I think that's where I would start.
I love that. Thank you so much. That's such a kind of actionable thing, isn't it, that people can do? And I imagine you do have lots of stunned faces when you...
Oh, yes. Especially when some of them write the husband is like on the 4th circle. And then you're like, oh my God.
It sounds like actually coming to work with you is a bit of a scary experience of what will I discover that I'm not ready to discover this.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's where suffering comes in, because it's really crazy how much suffering most people need until they get to the point where they're like, oh, I have to do something. I can't do this anymore. Like there's a lot of suffering needed before that. And I only wish for people to realize it's so much easier when you don't wait until it gets really horrible, because then also you have the energy to change things.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait until you really can't do it anymore. There's easier ways than that.
I love that. We're living in times, obviously, that are quite challenging. And we've talked about all of this noise, but at the moment, it's pretty full on. You're someone who is teaching these things. How do you remain centered, and how do you, I guess, just go through life with everything that's happening and stay true to everything that you're doing, despite all the challenges around us?
Well, you know, what helps me is I've been doing this and living that way like for such a long time. And I'm so grateful for it. So I'm really ready for whatever is coming, whatever is happening. That's not how it always used to be. Like it was a lot of work, but now I'm really in a place where I got rid of everything or alchemized or transformed my life in a way that there's nothing in my life anymore that I'm not grateful for, or that isn't nourishing me. Like I went through the same processes everybody has to go through. It's not like I was born in a bliss, peaceful, free way. Like I had to work through my shadows too, but it's done. So it's at some point you really become very stable and centered, but I can't tell you really how exactly. It's just been it's the way I live.
Right.
It was a lot of work. And right now I don't even focus so much. No, that's not true. I do see what's happening in the world. I read a lot of, like kind of some sources of news and, also some political stuff, but I'm not emotional about it and it doesn't trigger anything in me. And I think that's key. Like there's a saying in the spiritual community saying like, if you give it attention, you give it energy. That's one of the most misunderstood sentences ever. Like, because look, imagine, let's say the evil things we experience in the world are our shadows. It's like, equivalent to our inner shadows. If I just ignore my inner shadows and think that because I don't give them attention, they're just gonna like starve and not exist anymore. That's not how it is. It's the opposite. I have to give them attention, but I have to work with them in a loving, healthy way without letting them control me. And it's the same with the things on the outside. So just withdrawing our attention doesn't mean that it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist for you in that moment anymore, but it's still there. So like to give it focus, but in a detached and like eagle vision kind of way is very important, because then we can start working together and thinking, how can we change those things? Like on an energetic level, but also on a 3D level, how spiritual people call it, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know I'm saying a lot, but it's so important for me. So it's for everybody that is spiritual listening to this, it's not about leaving this evil 3D world and going to the paradise like 5D world. That's not what it's about. We're supposed to bring this paradise state of being into this world. It's not about escaping this world. We have to bring it here. So that's why the Human Blueprint program is so important for me. Like, unifying people, uniting people, working together, not in war, not against something, but for something. Like in times of AI and technology, it's never been that important to work for the human blueprint and unite as human beings. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, we really should get active here. Like, really.
Definitely. It's more
Not a
important
joke.
than ever, isn't it? Definitely.
Mhm.
It's interesting. Based on what you're saying, it sounds like there's a lot of things that, well, I don't want to say necessarily belief systems, but I guess they say something like a little bit of information can be a dangerous thing. So it sounds like on the spiritual side of things, there are some things that you feel that people are taking some pieces of information and then running with it or understanding it one way, but you have a deeper knowledge that you're saying, actually, this is not at all what you're supposed to be approaching it like. This is not, I mean, is there anything else that you feel that you see from a kind of spiritual development perspective, given that of the work you're doing, that you feel that people are not getting, I don't want to say right or wrong. I think it's more people are misguided in regards to.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right. It's not about right or wrong. It's just about being whole. And yes, my one of my most important like missions or tasks here is help people stop being afraid from the darkness.
Right.
In every way. And in the spiritual world, light, there's like it's unbelievable. Like darkness is evil for them and light is good. And that's one of the biggest problems, because there's no light without darkness. There's no darkness without light. It's like the yin yang symbol that most people know. There's darkness in the light and light in the darkness. It's one. And as long as people are afraid of the darkness, whether it's spiritual people or non-spiritual people, doesn't matter. We have a big problem, because the solution and the treasures are in the darkness. They're not in the light. And what happens, because they're scared of going there, because they think it's something evil, they look like they're cut here, and everything is up here, and they're blinding themselves and others with their light, and they don't know they're doing that. And everything down here is just like cut off, like it doesn't exist. That's how it looks like, what it looks like energetically. So I'm just slowly succeeding in teaching people, helping them remember that darkness is not an evil thing. That's where everything starts, where the seed starts growing. And the feminine power is darkness, but it's been through also like Christianization and the witch hunting times and all of that. We've been programmed in a way that we think darkness is bad. And especially we as women, we have to remember that that's not true. That's our power.
I love that. That is fascinating.
Yeah, and fake light is so much more dangerous than real, even evil darkness. Like I can handle, like I can call them evil, but like openly dark in a destructive way people, they exist too, better than the fake light one. They are, wow. I mean, they're the most dangerous ones, seriously. So there's no such thing like darkness is bad and light is good. It just really depends on how you work with those energies. Darkness is the most beautiful energy once you find peace with it, and oh wow, it's like the mother earth energy. It's so beautiful and so loving and caring and nourishing and like comforting. It's wow. Yeah,
I loved your analogy of the seed. That is so true. It's like a lot of good things do happen in the dark. So based on the work that you've done, then I guess if you want everybody listening to take away just kind of one thing, what would that be?
I think, wow, there's would be so much thing as I could say. Let me feel into that. Yeah, I think there's two things. The first one would be, and just ties into what we just talked about, is I think the most unstoppable force on earth is a woman who isn't afraid of her own dark. So in the end, you don't perform your powers, you embody it. And yeah, that's so important. I wish to see so many women in their power again, being whole, not in the performing way, not in a competitive way, because we have to stop on competing against each other, not only as women, but in general as human beings. Like, just stop. We have to work together. It's not a competition. We're all going to die, and let's just do the best we can while we're together. I mean, nobody will get out of it alive anyway. So let's just work together. That's one of the most important things for me. And then in general, for everybody listening, just, one day when you're going to be on your deathbed, or just knowing that you're going to leave this life, this planet, you're going to look back at your life. And the worst thing is when you look back and you regret that you didn't have the courage to take bold decisions and follow your dreams and your passion. I worked with a lot of people that were passing away. I was supporting them go and leave their body, and all of them said the same thing. Like, yeah, I wish I did that. So stop running away from yourself and from your fears. They're not even real. They're not as bad as you think. Just stop, and stop running away from yourself. Like, I really mean it, because I care. Like, just stop. Yeah.
That's a big thing to take away. So true. One question I know everyone's wondering, because you did say you have been on this journey too. It's not a case of you were just born like this, you have it all sorted. You had your own journey. You started off by telling us that it was very lonely at the beginning, and loneliness is a very challenging space to be in. What, through your own journey, what was kind of one of the biggest, well, two questions. What was the biggest thing you had to overcome, aspect of yourself perhaps, and then what was kind of the lesson that you've learned from your own journey and experience?
Oh, wow, that's a big
It
question.
is.
Wow. No, I love it. I love it. I just need a second. What was the main thing to overcome?
Mm,
I think, yeah, overall, when I look at it, like I had a pretty difficult relationship with my father,
right.
like not present, kind of like I always felt I wasn't enough. No, whatever, just not walking the path he wanted me to, so it was like, oh my God, she's like a curandera. I wanted her to be whatever, a lawyer or dentist or so. And I just refused. And now and I'm okay with it. But a big part of my life, I've just felt like I'm not enough
Mm,
and like unworthy of whatever, and just not a good self-worth. Although I thought I'm good until I realized I'm not. So I dived deep there. It was like 2 weeks of crying and whatever. It's just, but I worked through it. It's like 15 years ago now that was like my big last working through that topic.
yeah.
And what it taught me, like what I learned most, wow, so many things. Overall, I think it was the total stepping out of the victim role in any way and taking responsibility for everything that is happening to me,
Mm,
because in the end it's happening through me, and it depends on how I look at it, and that's how it is. So it's kind of difficult to explain. It's like realizing that I am co-creating everything in my life because I need it as an experience.
mm,
And that kicked me out of the victim role immediately. And that's amazing because you realize how powerful you are, because you look at everything in a totally different way. It makes you the creator
mm.
of everything that is happening in your life. And that's good because you can take responsibility for it and realize that when you work on the inside, it's going to be shown on the outside. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
reflected to you from the outside. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And they go so deep and it takes a
Mm.
long time. And for sure, you know that too. Like you think, oh no, now I worked through it. Now I'm healed. And then like 2 months later, you're like, oh, again, this. So it takes a lot of patience. So just for everybody listening, don't give up. We
Yeah.
all went through that. Like
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
going to be good at some point. It just needs patience and time.
And we all will we be like work in progress. We're always, I said I'm always a work in progress, always. So there's always a new layer. There's always something new, isn't it?
Of course, it never stops. And I'm glad
Yeah,
because it would be boring otherwise for me, I need to
definitely.
explore. And yeah,
Love it.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Linda. This has been such a fascinating conversation. Although you said that there's not necessarily this exercise and it's going to be done, you've definitely shared steps and actions that people can take. However, I think clearly people need to understand that you need someone to help you work through these things. What would be the best way to work with you?
Yeah, I mean, people can explore my work
Mm,
on my webpage. There's like they can book sessions, they can invite me for ceremonies, workshops, speeches, whatever is needed. I love working in groups too, I have to say.
yeah, yeah.
Like I do that a lot. I travel the world and just work wherever I'm called to. But I also do one-on-one sessions.
Hmm.
So just reach out to me. There's my mail address, and then we
Okay,
just go from there. And
exactly.
I'm a very, very uncomplicated, easygoing person. So no matter if someone's experienced or not, I don't care.
Yeah,
As long as someone is authentic, we can work together.
I love it. And don't expect it to be easy. That's what we. You're like,
Yes, but I'm there to support. Like it's not like I throw them in the process and I'm like, well, you will survive. Like
exactly.
I am here there to guide, So yeah.
But family, and honestly, I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Antoinette. I really, really enjoyed this talk so much. It was just flowing. I could go on for like
Yes.
an hour more. So thank you so much for what you're doing and just you have such a beautiful energy. You're just really a beautiful woman. Thank you so much.